So, okay. So starting with, as I said, data type. So mainly the data types that's there in the Python. We have numbers, strings, list, tuples, dictionary that we'll see next class. So right now mainly I'll start with numbers and strings, and some extra like in that we have booleans type, right? And so okay, in numbers a number can be integer and a floating number. It's commonly known to all of us, right? So in that we have integer, floating. String is basically a set of characters put together, correct? So what are the different ways we can represent a string here in Python? We'll see that, and also how a blank string is represented. We'll see booleans are there. Booleans of so for booleans, what is the purpose of booleans? How we use it? We'll see that as well, and then we'll see also a few inbuilt functions that we can frequently use whenever required, rather than going around, writing your own logic for even a small things. Okay, and so okay, mainly, and there is some complex number thing also. If you are from mathematical background, you know what a complex number is. But as such, in data science perspective, we don't use it anything. But just knowing that would be helpful. So considering that, I have added it here, and yeah, list, tuple, dictionary we'll take up in next class. So we'll mainly start with how these are used in Python case with that more answer. Okay. Also to add on, I want to make you all this. If some of you are from programming background, you know there's always a restriction on the length of your integer and float that you define. In Python, you don't have any such restriction as long as your local computer memory supports it. Okay? If you have local memory restriction, then you have to put a restriction on the length. Otherwise, it can be as lengthy as you want. Okay? So let's say we say okay. Okay, one more thing. So as studying itself, I said, identifiers is any name variable that you define for your storage to store any value. So it's a name given to some certain memories that we'll be using for your computation. So here we just define the name, we just write the name and assign some value. That is sufficient. That you have to always do. Okay, so if I say integer is like that. So how do you know? Okay, let's say one more. Let's say, let's do more convenient way. Let's say message. Okay. So I have defined assigned here 3 variables, so with 3 different values. One with integer. Oh, it's not showing. Sure. Okay. You have a floating number. And here you have a blank string. So, so when you execute, these values are stored in your numbers. So you know what are the various operations that we can perform with integer, any mathematical operation that you want. Let's say 1 plus 1, we get the number, right? Similarly with float, it goes with numbers, right? Coming to string, so slightly, okay, what all different ways we can represent a string. So here I have used, just I gave a blank, quotation, it's blank string. If I have to put the message, this also takes a, sorry, 3. So that way also you can represent. As I said, one is this way. All three. Now there are certain advantages, disadvantages with each one. For example, multiple lines thing you can do with triple quotation very easily. This goes again within a line, multiple string literals you can use. Here again, so in Python, all three ways of quotations are supported that you can use based on your convenience, right? Okay, and so, okay, on numbers, you know you can do mathematical plus add-on. Can you do with numbers and a string?
No, have the same, has to be the same form.
If it's of the same data type. Right? So yeah, the same way, for example, if I do this, will it give an error? And then, okay. It's clear? Yeah. So yes, what happens if you go on adding numbers and a string, it will give something unsupported type error. Whenever you get this error, you can here onwards make out it's data type mismatch error. So to do that, what happens if you typecast it explicitly here, then it will again do that addition. How to do? So string. This is kind of implicit typecasting, explicit typecasting that you do using the string. The strings are of a string type. So it got appended. Okay. Now another way could be just assigning the quotation. Then also it takes as a string. Okay. Okay. And still there's something. What happened? So here with a string, star operators also works, but it will replicate or concatenate that many times as you give the number. So this is also here applicable. Okay. So how do you, sometimes you have to understand, okay, let it be. Sometimes if you have to understand what data type the object is, how will you decide? Is there type function is there? Right? Yeah. So type. See, this is what I was actually, you can see type function is there, that's giving type, but also what I said, in a single cell, if you have multiple, you want to display, that won't happen until you use a print statement. So everywhere, if you go ahead and append print, it should work. Now you can see type of each one of them. So strings are with a string, integer int, float are with float number. Okay. So object of Boolean type always holds only two values, true or false. And what is that used for? We'll see. So anything like like either it will be true or false. So these are again keywords already defined. You need not worry. So if something like that I do, um, and then I say you can see, right? So booleans are mostly used during generating or a condition, right, in expression, and conditions are definitely useful whenever you need loop, and why we need, we'll say that later, right? And further what, so on strings you have a lot of operations there, concatenating strings, maybe deleting the character from the strings, reversing any strings. So there are a lot of things that you can try, okay, because there are a lot of operations that you can do, a lot of programs can be generated. Each one I won't be able to pick up here, so you go ahead and try what all operations you can do with a string, right? Okay, I was mentioning about some inbuilt functions. As I said, printer. Sorry. Yesterday we saw that is also inbuilt function. We saw input and inbuilt function. Again, we saw something called type inbuilt function. What else we have in a mathematical? For is, that's a keyword, not a function, right? Function mostly comes with your parent, this bracket, right? So there is something called max mean that helps you to get the maximum and minimum values among the set of numbers. And we have something called mean as well. This gives you mean. It also comes as np.mean. In the NumPy package, we'll see.
Dot format would also be a function.
Format is also a function.
Append would also be a function.
String is also a function. There is something called split, which comes in string package. So what it does, it splits your set of strings into a number, right? And we'll see there are something called append. We have something called extend. We'll see in later classes, but keep in mind that there is something like this, right? We have something called reverse in the your string library. From there you can see. So like that, there are numbers of functions, inbuilt functions already existing for our all day-to-day basic operations. Whenever you come across, one way is, yeah, definitely you can write your algorithm if you're very good at data structure and algorithm and do it. Another thing is try to Google it, so that it will save your time. And once you'll be aware of it, so that something like this does exist, in future you can, frequently use and proceed further with your operation in quicker manner than getting stuck in writing simple logic as we used to do before. So not required that way. So these are just few samples and there are many more. So you can Google out anywhere, list of the, let's say, inbuilt functions in Python, you'll get a lot, big list. I won't be specifying all of them here because it's a big list and everybody may not remember all of them. Whenever and you need it, Google it, use it. That way, right? So we'll do few hands-on here and just to do hands-on on what we learned yesterday and today, right? Let's take maybe two numbers, okay, from the user. Take one integer float and then let's say take a string. Try to do add them, concat them. Okay. Also try to read two integers from the user in a using single input function. Can you try? To get two, let's say, numbers from user using single input function. And later try to display them. If anyone is stuck, you can think this way, how to start from. So let's break it down into sequence manner. What you have to do, first take the input. So think what all functions we use for input taking. Then once you take the input, for further processing, you need to store into something. Store it in some variable name, whichever you want. Then think, okay, as per this question, there is no major operation that you have to do. It's just displaying the result in your console. So think which function I'm going to use. That's how, like, for those who are not from, that's how you can build. It's called algorithm building in a simple way. Always go stepwise. For example, if somebody tells you take two numbers from the user and display their sum, always stepwise. Read two numbers, store into different variables, then take a third variable in which you take the sum. At the end, you display the sum. Always break down stepwise. Any major program you can do this way, it becomes easy. Done. No?
For me, I think like 4 plus 4 is 44.
4 plus 4, 44. That means you haven't cast it into intent. It's taking as a string. Sorry?
Split.
Yes.
Take a single well-known split. You can treat it as a string as well, right? Input would be a string. Take each value of the input.
Each index wise.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then multiply by, convert it into multiply by 10 and add the next one.
Yes, that is also right. So various approaches could be right. This is also one of the approaches. One of the approaches, and that is using split function. So input converts your output into string. Use the split. What a split does, it converts into a number of list elements. We'll see what list. Basically, a set of words splits by space, right? So as you can say, by each I entered three values: RAM 1, 1.4. So what it did, a RAM, and there was a space. So RAM was taken as a single element, and it is stored, then 1 and then 1.4. And again, you can see all of them are in in strings. So now it will be up to you to convert it. If you want to perform any mathematical operation, convert it into integer and then do. For string is fine. Sorry. It will split and give you. Yeah. So this is something like list that I'm storing. Again, as he said, in this we can do indexing and we can access them. So for that you need to know the idea of indexing. Or if you give two variables, it will add and again. So in that case, what happens? Problem. Let's say I give W2. So here if I give 3 elements, it will give me error while entering by mistake. This way it takes care. As many numbers as you want, everything will be in a single. So okay, as you know, once you have your data, what you have to do, display it, do the mathematical operations, whatever you like for your convenience. I want to specify or restrict it as such, and see display the output. If you are getting something out of expected, like he said, 4 plus 4 was becoming 44, and try to understand why that's happening. Do some more operations like this. You can do product start operator you can use even on your integers and see how it goes.
That 4 plus 4 is when we get that 44, only if we are putting in the strings.
Yeah, so we saw, right? If it's a strings, it gets concatenated. It won't do mathematical operation. So these are the common mistakes that happens. If ever by mistakenly or explicitly or somewhere, your integers are, you'll see later in Python, in pandas. When you read even a string, integers, it gets converted into something called object, which is also a string type itself. And then you try to do any mathematical operation, you will get errors. But you won't be understanding why I'm getting errors. So these are the common reasons. Sometimes you must check that type that case, okay, to understand why you are getting error. So make a practice whenever you read some data, check the type of the data. For everyone, it's done, or you want me to write? It's done because it's not that significant. You can try. We'll move on to with operators because a lot of things are to be covered there. Okay. Okay, so it's firstly, why do we need to know the operators? And okay, what is an operator in a very basic way? You do anything like this, A plus B. Operators are what that actually operates on your variables to give some result, something as you expect. It could be mathematical result or it could be condition checking or something. So based on that requirement, here we have lots of operators, lot of types of operators like arithmetic operators we have, then we have logical operators, comparison operators, and bitwise operators, and so on. So, and you know, operators are a symbol, and the variables on which it operates on are called operands. Few terminology in simple way. Okay. So, arithmetic operators, here you can see these are the list of arithmetic operators that we have. It's clear? Yeah. Okay, then I have to exit. So these are the list of arithmetic operations that are available in our Python library as of now. So it's very clear, common, right? Addition, subtraction, division, and this is called power operator, multiplication, and the mod. So without wasting time, let's go and try do some operations using these operators. You know what is the difference between single slash and double slash? Modulo is here. Modulo is here. Percentage.
This is a flow division.
Double slash will escape that.
Double slash will
Escape the slash.
What?
Well, in order to want to escape slash, as in introduce a slash character, then
yeah,
like,
that is one role when you go in format display, right? But here I'm talking with respect to operators. Double slash as an operator, what it does? Arithmetic operators.
Okay.
You know single slash does division, right?
Yeah.
What does double slash does? So okay, let's get it clear this way. I'll exit this. I think again it got closed. Let's do this. Write a program where to take any two inputs from your two numbered inputs. Okay, one integer, one float. Two numbers from user and display result using your single slash. Do the operation with single slash. You know, with addition, subtraction, multiplication, you know, right? Confusion is with single slash, double slash, and modulo operator. Yeah, percentage. So display this way result. You'll see what is the difference. If possible, take one integer, one float from user. It's visible to you. The steps will be taking two numbers, storing into different variables. Okay, as he said, go by that way right now. We'll have to definitely cast it into int or float, and then try to display. If you want to store the results in third variable, do, or directly display with print statement the final result. Okay, so I'll write here for those who are facing difficulties. Let's say you take number 1, we'll go step by step. Okay. Number 2. Then what is the task? Divide by single slash. So, okay. Let's store it in a variable. On where you are dividing num1 divided by num2. Okay, you are then displaying the result. Try to give an display informative message. Don't by A by B as long as. But whenever you try to write, your issue got resolved. Your system is still hang?
Yeah.
It's working. Okay. So, okay. Let's say division by single slash. Okay. Okay. And try to use, because as much as you remember, it will help you to remember it long term. I'm using format here. And I'm saying display result 1. Do you think it will execute or it will give me an error? Any error?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
It will give error, right? What error?
Because those are strings, sir.
Correct. So that's what it's. So what I'll do here itself, while reading, I'll convert it into the type I want. So the difference, right? So you can do it here also, or you can do here also. It's up to you where you want. Again, okay, I'll show that again. So this will 2 and here is 2. Okay. Can you try with percentage sign? Let's do once more. Using modulo operator. This is called modulo operator, which is your percentage sign.
So just remove the floating point.
Which one?
Double slash.
Yeah.
It just ignores the.
Yes.
It doesn't round it up. It just ignores it. That's all. Because 2.7 closest would be 3, right?
It does not. It just removes your decimal one. Yeah. And again, since here in your case you have one int, one float, so you know by rule.
I know. I'm taking both the float.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So just let me see. Okay. So let me give 3 and 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 6. Sorry? Oh yeah, right. I forgot. So yeah, it's all right. If you get, that's why you kind of use a list of it. Okay. So since you have the result here, okay. So 3 divided by 6 is how much? 0.5. 3 divided by 6 is 0.5. But as I said, double slash does remove your fraction part. So it's removing and it's giving me 0. Dot 0. Why 0 dot 0? Why not just 0? Because one of your number is float. So whenever you divide by float, it implicitly gets converted into float type. Right? Modulo operator. What it does, it gives you the remainder of the division. Let's say, for example, when you divide 10 out of 5, 10 divided by 5, what is the remainder here? 0. Right? So it will display 0. But when you do 11 divided by 5, what is the remainder? 1. So it will give you 1. So modulo is used for that. So it's if you have come across finding if a number is even and odd in logic, we'll use a lot of modulo operator. For those kind of new to programming, this is one way I did. Okay, easy way would have been like ignoring third variables, temporary variables, for example. Directly I could have replaced here. Just to show you what are the various ways we can perform the operation. These are temporary variables, are not even required. I can display directly. So it depends person to person, their standard of coding, but to get the same end result, you can do lot way you can write the program. Okay, that's all. So this was about your arithmetic operators. Now coming to, let's say I want to understand 5 is greater than 10 or it's less than 10. How will you do? So for that there is something called set of comparison operators, which are this. If I have to show you, less than, greater than, very commonly known, right? These are the known things, just we have to put into programming format. That's all. Less than, greater than, not equal to. So here, and also this operator returns either true or false, Boolean operators, right? Objects, as we saw. And based on that, some operations are taken. So here we'll just do, again, let's read 2 numbers and see, perform all, and print the result with all these operators. Check with condition equal to, not equal to, greater than, and equal to, less than, and equal to. Just display. It will give you hands-on practice at the same time. So let's do this. Write a program to number fusion and display. Operators, which is your So please do hands on here. Don't think I'll go home and we won't be able to. Yeah. We saw this yesterday, right? Separated by comma also we can use. Greater than. So just to show various way you can keep on adding multiple things. Slash and put your cursor in the next line. So initially my result were getting printed in a single line. If I want to break it down line by line, that will also there. One way is use different print statements. One way would be in the single print statement, use the slash and operator, that works. So you got to know what it does. Basically it does, as I said, it returns true, false, true, false, true, false. If condition is true, true. If it's false, not true, anything, false. Only do that.
Slash, yeah, right. Only once if you put it is
No. I see. I did it before this one. So for this, after this, the cursor is in next line, but again the cursor are in same line for other results. So again, if I have to, let's say I want to split this also, I have to do and put in the second line. Let's say 5, 6. First and second came here. Rest all are still in the single line. So what format you want to display it up to you? Just to show both I did here. Right? This is simple way, just using the operators to give more informative message. Try different combinations. With this also you can play a lot. The more you play, the more idea you get. Visibility comes into picture. Right? Let's do it the same with the logical operators. So logical operators, when we say we have 3 keywords there, and or not. And or works on 2 operands, not works on a single operand. Just see what it does. assign two variables with the name true, false, one true, boolean true, one boolean false, and apply the AND operator. It's a small, okay, caps is also fine. And print, let's say num1 and num2, print num1 or num2, print not num1, for example, or not num2, or different combinations. So to be, 1 second, 6. You can further add something like this. Let's say. It's up to you, as has been mentioned, Mrs. Yamsi, until you feel good. I won't do further formatting. Okay, so it's clear. I'll move to the next question. It's a keyword and that you have to use.
What happens if you give number value, number number check, number equals 5, number equals number and
Anything anything other than 0 is true.
So, and the keyword and the symbol and are two separate.
Symbol and is bitwise operator.
So, and what are this? This
And it's logical.
logic.
It's not using the product.
Sorry,
It's not product.
not product. So, when I say number and number, what did I get?
So it will say it will be like true and true. Anything I said no, here other than 0 is true, true. So true and true. So when both are true, it's actually a true.
Because see, this was giving me number equals this, number 2 equals 5, number 3 equals number 1 and number 2. Now what happens? Then I interchange this as stick to and interchange this to the also. Living in the other right patterns. Bit by work using the main output between number what it has to be. Logical operator, right?
Yeah, it's logical. It is not logical. I think it works, but the result you can't do. So 6 is number 1. So what is it when you have the number displays on 5?
Number 1 is 6, right? Second number.
So the second operator is also always in display, right? Yeah, so it's possible.
So it should be Boolean, right?
Should be Boolean, yeah. No, so what you said, it works, it's a logical, between logic only it works. Here you are getting numbers.
Yeah.
Right. So if you see, let's say, if you say a condition is true and a condition is false, the resultant will be additive, so false. There it works. If you do it number, you can't expect something to no. That's why work by doing the product, you use samples. So I don't know how it works with the arithmetic. So here it looks like the very last operand values return. Yeah.
That is 8. So then it is having 2.
Can you
The first one. Like if I put number 2, then it will be number 1.
one
Right?
since you
So yeah, it's probably.
or the second one is weak. So don't use this with numbers.
That should not be the case. In any case, it should work in an industry, right?
No, so if you go by, if you see in the documentation, this is designed to give the final result in terms of true or false. Logical comparison between that is used. So that's why we use these things mostly during in loops for our expression, logical expressions. Yeah, definitely it's because the last number that will be. So don't use it.
Just not because this thing is
So there is it should be in this tag, right? It should be now.
this is a different.
Or this that it.
So this is happening. So monitor improvement. This all the.
Can you do restart? You did restart. Sometimes it's hang in your system. Restart. Or other way to do this, sometimes if this happens to you, you have to restart the entire your anaconda.
No, it kept happening. It's happening.
Yeah. So either you open a new kernel or restart once you're connected with it. So there's no other solution. So done. Please. Yeah, so as I said, don't try to use this logical, as the name suggests, these are designed. Now how their behavior are with other than logical true false, we don't know because we can't draw pattern and it's not even documented, so don't rely on them. Always try to use with a boolean, and basically the operand should be a boolean object, right, for this. That's how it is designed for, even the documented code. So use for that. So you know now how it works. For example, here num1 is true and then second one is false, which are keywords always. So when you operate an AND operator, AND is true and returns true only if both of your operands are true, or returns true even one is true, right? And not, it always does opposite of what your operand is. If your operand is true, it returns false. If your operand is false, it returns true. So I said use not operator only with single operand, right? As we can see here, single operand. But that doesn't mean always a single operand. The final after the expression, a big expression can also be used, but the end result of the expression should be a single number. Before that only you use a not operation, as you can see here in 3 cases. So here what happens is I have used a bracket. First expression evaluation will happen inside this bracket. It will see, it will get some results. So num1 and num2. So true and false, so which is false. Not of false, true. Similarly here, or evaluation will happen first, and then here since we have 3 different brackets, first what will happen? Left to right. So first num1 and num2 evaluation will happen. I'll show something. Okay, so how I'll just show for those might be facing issue how it operates. So first operation will happen on this stepwise. It will evaluate this and it will replace the result, this statement with its result. So not and true and false, false. Then it will go ahead and evaluate this statement. So not of what is num1, true, which is false. Then it will again evaluate this outer bracket. So false or false? False, right? And then not of false, which is actually true, and that's why your result is true. So now, okay. So now the question is why it took operated on this first and this. So there is something called precedences for that. We'll see. Okay. What else we are left? Logical operators done. Assignment operators, very simple. I think you know, when you assign, every time when you do this kind of stuff, you're assigning something, right? There is a further extension to this. We'll see. Let's say you have 4, you have 5. Let's say I print like this. No. Let's say num1 to num1. I'm adding one or 2, let's say, and then I'm going ahead and displaying my num1. So what will be the value for num1? When I'll print it here,
6.
it will be 6, right? So this is method 1 of doing the increment. Again, can I do something like this? Again, num1 plus equal to, let's say 3. What will be the result here? 6 plus 3.
Okay, that I was taking your question.
It always will store your previous value until you are clearing the memory you haven't cleared. So this is method 2 of assignment something, or let's say increment. So here we have repetitive used num1 twice. What I am doing in the shortcut way, the plus sign and I have assigned before equal to, and then also it performs the same operation. That means add 3 to existing num1 value. Similarly, you can replace it with, can you try this on your Jupyter and see what results you are getting, because I won't run it here now, and we'll play just with one number as of now. Let's say I do this one and do this one. Every time print it. Let's see. June. I don't know if that's not possible. You're saying from here or there? Okay. Okay, I'm going to use the assignment because it's wrong. Try to add your comments also wherever you learn something new. Add your comment so that in future when you refer it back, you understand why you did what you have done. Okay. Done for everyone? Huh? This one?
Last one.
Oh, yeah. Because I made a mistake. Wait. So what will be the result here in the first print? 9. Here it will be 5. Here it will be 0. And here it will be. So you know how it works. Once a variable is assigned with some value, as long as that process is, it's in the same process, whatever operation you do, it gets concatenated or it happens on top of it. So make sure, like in your programming, anytime if you plan to use the same variable for some other purpose, like you don't want to use the previous values in store is in it, either reassign it back with 0 or clear it whatever way. If it's a string, make it a blank string, assign a blank value. If it's a number, assign it with a 0. Otherwise, you will get something result you were not expecting and you'll be wondering what went wrong. This is very common problem, and especially in Python when you work with big data structures. And because in Python, what happens? There is something called value. Objects are referenced. I mean, whenever you copy something, especially this problem again happens. We'll see that when we'll read function there. We'll see. Okay. So this is your assignment operators. So you can use, I have just listed few of them here. There are many more. Model operator, you can use that division function, you can use double division, everything you can apply here with the equal to sign. Okay. There is something called identity operator, and then we have membership operator. Is, not is. Is and not is. That's called operators, where we have in and not in. So these operators mainly will be using there for list and tuples when we'll read. So, but to give an idea what it does, let's do this. Let's say 5 is 6. You can understand. It's like equal to equal we are using, right? Similarly, it sees that way. But it's not designed to work on a single operand. It's a set of operands we use, which we call list. We'll see. So it again does the evaluation part. If 5 is 6, no, it's not 6. Similarly, opposite of is not is. Similarly, we have membership operators. So something like this. I think it will give error here if I do this way. Yeah. See, argument. What is the error? Argument of type int is not iterable. So what is iterable? Iterator, we'll see there. So basically something on which it can put into a loop. It's expecting something where it can go into a loop. Here 6 is not something that where you can put a loop. It's a single number. So as a list, what happens? There are a set of numbers. There you can put a loop. One by one you do testing. That's why in operators does not work with a single scalar numbers, I'd say. You need a array forms here, if you are familiar with the word array. So that's why you got the error. So I'll do other way just to show you. For example, 5 in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is something called list. Okay. I'll get somewhere. True. So again, it's a condition checking. It returns true or false. So that means is 5 in this. If I say 5 not in, I'll get false. Why? Because 5 is there out of this number set, but I'm saying not in, that's why it's false. If I remove 5, it's true. Something like this. Right?
Can you explain is again?
Okay. So is like again, it's like I can say equal to, I can replace it. Checking condition.
No, so can we write as 5 greater than 6 as well?
Yes, we can. But is just for equal. Is not for greater than less than. Sorry. So hardly, I think people do use is, mostly equal to keywords, because you don't have anything alternative for greater than less than. So very few people know about it. But good to know something like this does exist. It's not true. Right? Okay. Okay, we have just a few moments. Okay, for operators precedence. So something as a demo I gave you here, right? How it does evaluate. I said a single operand, but there's a lot of it's a big expression separated by brackets. How system understands which one should I start, where should I start from, right? So there are certain rules like start from left to right, okay, while evaluating any expression. It is in terms of numbers or variables, it can be mathematical. It is similar to the mathematical when expressions, if you remember, big expressions in algebra and all. So how was the rule? Start from left to right first. Second, see first do inner bracket. The innermost bracket should be evaluated. Then the outermost. Inner to outer it goes. Again, coming to always take first, do the division operation first, then multiplication, then addition or subtraction, again in the same fashion of left to right, like that. So many rules were there, right? So same set of precedents. Yeah, 1 second. Yes. Okay. So similarly, need not be same. Like as of our mathematics Bodmas rule, as we said, we have a certain precedence or preference assigned to each of the operator here in Python, and the meaning is same as per what they have designed. We cannot expect to change them here. So for that, we should know, we should have a reference point, what operator is given what importance or priority or precedence, and for that you need not remember everything, but you can follow this chart or something anywhere, Google out, or I have even taken from Google because I don't remember everything and one need not remember. Just know there is a reference point and go to the reference point and always refer it. So here, as you can see, so the first preference here, it goes to, okay, double X indicates what operator? Though the description is given, it's an exponential operator. So what it means, I'll show you. Sorry. Let's say I say 5. What it will print, any idea? 25. Power operator, other way. Right? Double X. Single X is product, double X is power. So always power operator is given first preference while evaluating any expression. Right? Logical expression or arithmetic expressions. Then so it has a highest precedence that gets evaluated first, and then these are the complementary, unary and minus sign, which have the next precedence and equal precedence. If they are in same set, that means they are equal precedence. So when they will occur in an expression, then left to right things will come into picture. Left to right, whichever will be left, that will get processed first, and the right one. Then you have these all operators: star, product, division, modulo, double division. Then addition and subtraction. So from top to bottom, as you go, the precedence gets reduced, and you have to follow this if you want to. Okay. Last is the logical operator. So that's why in your expressions also, and or it comes in between, and you have a big first expression to evaluate, and at the end you use and then just on 2 operands. So anybody has any question so far? Because it's almost time, and since I came 20 minutes late, do you want me to extend 20 more minutes, or do you want to stop and continue? Because what's your opinion? Done? Okay. So if you have, otherwise I thought I'll start with loops, but I think it's okay if you don't want. And okay, so we'll not extend it, but we have some 5 to 10 minutes left, 8 minutes. So any question or any clarification from yesterday's class or today's class, or
Yesterday we learned the indentation, right? Indentation. While selecting all the cells, all the lines in the cell, how to apply each line as hash?
all line.
Yeah.
You have to do this. Let's say this is a multiple line, right? Select all and then select command slash. Can you show?
Control.
In your case, control slash, yeah. Done, right? That is multi-line comment. Don't do one by one. Okay. Any other question?
Then how do we do only single line of code? If I just want to explicitly.
Okay, just put the cursor in that line anywhere and again command slash. This is through command through your keyboard. Otherwise, go in the starting of the line. Starting, you have to put the cursor and then your shift and hash sign. Shift and 3 button you have to press.
Yeah.
Okay. Come on, 5 more minutes. That's something. You can ask for something you learned that yesterday. You can share that.
Like how to change that line slash n will you use?
How to change line?
Slash
n, yeah, new line.
So how to do that?
How to change in a sense I didn't get.
Okay.
So just like comma, separated by comma. So once, what will happen? Once the printf statement will come, it will see this line first inside a string. It's a string. So it knows it just have to print as it is. It will print it. Then it will see a comma. So that means there's a new one now. Again, like that. So here, since this has already a predefined meaning inside the compiler, it knows this means not printing slash n. It means put the cursor in next line. How to choose?
So my question was like, I have 3 or 4 print statements. I just want one of them to be printed. Can I do?
Then you comment the other 4. That's the only thing.
There is no other way to select that and kind of.
No. Line by, okay, so other way would be make sure that single printer statement is in a single cell.
Okay.
And other, so listen, other 4 are in next cell. So whenever you run the first cell, that you can do, and or you mean line by line execution, right? That is even there in it.
Yeah, like we do debug noise. That's why I was asking.
So that is given in your spider, that facility you have. Here you don't have. Here, as the options are, put it in a single cell or comment the other if they are in the same cells. That's the way. Line by line execution is similar to cell by cell execution here.
Okay.
I think, Kamaki, this was your question, right?
Yeah, the earlier one I was asking the same, but I.
Okay. So you got the answer. Okay. So any more? Okay, guys, then we'll end it here. Do you want this PPT? It's not.
Reading multiple lines from
Multiple lines. Yeah, so you can use either a split or there's a split line function that you can use. String.split line. Input.string.split line.
Okay.
That way.
Then what happens with input is when you hit end, it's end of the thing. So now do you read multiple enters?
Multiple.
So what I'm saying is hi, enter, this is statement 1, enter, this is statement 2, enter. So how would I read that in one single? Like how can input take multiple enters?
Enter you are pressing.
Hi, enter, how, enter, R, enter.
Okay. No, you can't do that. You print in a continuous way, and what you can do, you use the as I said, the functions like a split line. And pass the parameters. It knows.
Split is you're saying take split and then put this thing. Right? You can do for specific characters like dot. So what my question is, what happens when you say hi? Imagine the statement is hi, how are you? Hi, enter, how are enter.
You want to enter in a new line, right?
No, like for example, what I'm saying is.
See, what I understood, you are typing hi, then in next line you are giving the.
I'm not giving my next line. Yeah. So what I'm saying. So usually input gets overtakes the thing as soon as you get enter.
Yeah.
Correct. So now let's assume the statement is hi, good morning. I hit hi, enter, good morning, enter. So is there any way that we can take it in the same input, like saying that A equals input is something else, where my input statement is hi, enter, good morning, enter. So pressing to enter string will be taken in one single input.
What is your purpose of doing that?
I have no purpose. The question was asked by you yesterday.
Yeah. So no, based on purpose, I'll give you the answer. So see, it's like to an user, you want to give this privilege, like when you say hi, some reply comes and then, hi, good morning, right? So you are saying hi and then you are saying good morning. Why can't you say the single line, hi, good morning?
Yeah, that was a question that you posed. So I was just asking if there is.
So I'm telling you, yeah, you can do it. There's a function. Once I said split function. There's something called split line function. Go ahead and explore that.
Split line.
Yeah. And there are many more like this functions.
There was one more I saw where it said read line. They're using
multiple lines.
And I couldn't get around it.
So there's some split line, and in fact, much more should be there. I haven't explored everything because I don't work much with strings as such. Once you get into projects, you have CSV files more you work with.